Good morning, New York. It is Jersey Joe Piscopo, live from Manhattan, right here off of Wall Street. And now we're reaching out to Jersey Steve Adubato. We know Steve from PBS anchor. He's a PBS anchor, columnist, New Jersey political analyst, and the author of the forthcoming book, Lessons in Leadership. Steve, welcome back to the show, my friend.
It's always good to be with you, Joe. You know where else they know me from?
I'm afraid to ask. What?
They know me from the PBS special that you are also featured in, that our mutual friend Maria Bartiromo hosted. The Italian Americans of New York and New Jersey.
And New Jersey. You know what?
Which is airing on PBS this week, tomorrow night on NJTV, on WNET in New York as well. How great was that?
You know what? It was great, Steve. Thank you for reminding us. But we didn't make the national cut, did we? Isn't there a national version? Did we get left out of the national?
So let me tell you something. When this thing airs in the New York, New Jersey region, people in Iowa, people across the country are going to be saying, Piscopo, Adubato, Bartiromo, I need to know more about these people whose names end in a vowel. What about these Italians? I need to know more.
Italians. I love that. And I love that NIAFA, the National Italian American Foundation, pushed this, Steve. Because, you know, the Italians, we always get left in the dust, man. And it's great that they did this whole big PBS documentary. And it's great to see something on PBS, aside from the great Steve Adubato, that's not from England. Because everything is like, you know, everything's from England, man.
What's the matter? I was in Downton Abbey. You weren't in?
No, I know. And it makes a fortune for the network. But really, come on now. And
Downton Abbey reminds me of my old neighborhood in Newark.
And you know what? I don't want to leak. I don't want to leak that. I'll tell you, yeah, I want to leak it because we want to do this Bloomfield Avenue project, and we appreciate. I call Steve Adubato. I want Steve. You got to be on the blue ribbon panel, Steve Adubato.
Whatever you need.
You got to be on that blue ribbon panel because we're going to do this. Is going to be a historical retrospective. This is a big project that's taken years and years and years, and we're going to get there. Hey, Stephen, how are you? Everything good? Everything good?
Got a little bit of a cold flu, but then again, so do most people in our region. And, you know, but I'm okay.
You know, it's especially with the kids in school, right? The kids at school are just like they come home. It's like a petri dish. They go to school, they come back.
Disgusting.
Hey, let's talk about Governor Christie's address, the budget address. Getting into it, I'm trying to break it down. What are the highlights, the lowlights? What's the breakdown, Steve Adubato?
Well, here's the situation. A few hours before the governor was about to deliver his budget address, Judge Mary Jacobson stepped up and said, hey, wait a minute, Governor, hold on. You did not make a pension payment to the Public Employee Pensions Fund last year. A few years ago, you may remember the governor, together with the Democrats in the legislature, reached an agreement on a pension plan. The governor went around the country and said, hey, look, I work with the Democrats. We solved this problem, or at least we did a lot to solve the problem. Then the governor said, you know what? We don't have the money to make the pension contribution. Then the judge said, no. Put the money in the budget. The reason that's a problem is it's $1.6 billion that the judge said put in there, and the governor said, no, we don't have the money. So the governor put in $1.3 billion in the budget yesterday. I think he was planning on doing that anyway. The governor said to the judge, mind your own business, which I'm sure no one's surprised at. He called it liberal judicial activism. There's going to be a war in the courts over this, and the budget is largely going to be, frankly, influenced by the public employee pension and health care benefits issues, not just in New Jersey, it's across the country. This is a battle that is dominating the governor's life here because how this issue is dealt with and how you deal with the pension crisis in the state is going to dictate everything else, the money for health care, transportation, education, the environment. Everything else is predicated on all those public employees who are there now, who used to be there, and you're paying their pension. Joe, it's strangling us. It's a $40 billion unfunded liability. What does that mean? $40 billion. That's what we owe.
Yeah. You know, Steve, too, and help me out. You know, we loved everything about Jersey for sure. But you could see teachers, you could see cops and firefighters and, you know, first responders and the essential, bricks that build the foundation of the community. But, you know, some of the pension comes from those state workers that we call and we can't get on the phone when we call. And you know, you gotta be put on hold. Those are the people with these huge pensions too. But how do you decipher that? How do you say, well, that person's not not important enough to society to pay the pension? I mean, because it's all one union, isn't it?
Well, it's not just one union. It's multiple unions, but you're talking about two different issues, Joe. One is the question of how we pay for all those public employees, whether they were productive or not. But the other question is, what do we feel we owe those who have contributed so much to public life? And here's the problem. Problem is, if you don't think your kid's public school teacher is doing a great job, you don't have a good feeling about it. But we've had a great track record with those teachers. If you see a cop on the job that saves someone's life, you have a good feeling. If you see a cop on the job who you think is lazy, you don't have a good feeling. The bottom line is you can't separate them. If they put their time in, they're supposed to get their pension. Yeah. My opinion, when those contracts were negotiated for public employees' health and pension benefits, there wasn't an honest discussion about how much it was going to cost the rest of us in tax dollars. And now the bill has come due. And say what you want about Governor Christie, the criticism is there for him. My opinion, one of the pluses, he took this thing on and he's paid more into the public employee pension plan than the last 5 governors together. Okay. Now, some say it's not enough. I say it's more than most. But the law that they passed a few years ago says he's supposed to pay more. Complicated.
Well, hey, you know what? They're not raising the gas. I know you said to raise the gas tax.
I say raise it.
Joe,
I'm sorry.
So sick of taxes, Stephen.
Yeah, me too, Joe. I'm also sick of the fact that I heard you the other day complaining about the fact that you lost your rim.
Yeah.
Okay, how do you think you lost your rim, Joe? Because the road wasn't paved.
Yeah, well.
And your road wasn't paved in part. You're sitting there saying, I heard that maybe it was Al, because Al's a wise guy. I don't mean like a wise guy. Wise guy, you know what I mean. He said, send it to the governor. Send the bill to the governor.
Yeah.
And you said, no, maybe I'll send it to the county. Here's the problem. Those roads not paved, those roads not fixed, the bridges falling apart. There's something called the Transportation Trust Fund, which is supposed to fix the roads and bridges, running out of money on June 30th. Dead. Mort, Joe. I'll be Italian for a moment. Dead. No more money. Where's the money coming from? My opinion, there's only one source. Raising the gas tax by a few pennies. Wow. We've got to do it because by June 30th, when there's no more money, those roads and bridges are going to keep falling apart. We're going to keep losing our rims and our tires, and God forbid it's going to be worse. Lives are on the line. That's why I'm willing to pay a few more pennies at the pump.
But Stephen, I'm telling you, and you should have seen my bill for the rim. Oh my God! And and the rim, I love that it's made in China. That's a whole nother ball game, But it was. I'd rather pay for the rim, and it was just because of the weather. I think that the roads got eaten up. But why can't we? People are leaving the state. I'm going to play the devil's advocate, Steve, because it's in New York as well. People are leaving by the thousands every month. Businesses do not want to come here. The taxes are astronomical. I mean, how does this governor go and run for president with all the problems? Although I'm looking at the Star Ledger, and Tom Moran actually backed Governor Christie in this speech and said,
no, he didn't actually back. Tom Moran backing the governor is not really what he did. It was a backhanded compliment.
Okay.
No, I think listen, I don't want to give too much attention to Tom Moran but what I think he was saying was, look, Christie has an opportunity to deal directly with the pension situation. And if he does, and if real progress is made, he has an opportunity to say, look, I work with the Democrats again to deal with this problem in a way no other governor has, and it has the potential to put him back in play nationally. I think that's a fair statement. He's not praising the governor. What he's saying is the governor's crisis in front of him. Hey, listen, one person's crisis is another leader, in my opinion's opportunity to show how strong you really are. I do think the governor has an opportunity to do this. I do think the governor can reach across the aisle again and work with the Democrats. But if the Democrats want to make him look bad and not work with him, if the Democrats want to turn their back and just say, Chris Christie hasn't done enough for the pensions, by the way, the Democrats won't come up with any cuts to make up the difference. The Democrats won't come up with any specific program cuts in this budget to say, okay, well, if Chris Christie's going to pay into the pension, where's the money going to come from? You won't find one Democrat, and I interviewed Democratic leaders yesterday in the legislature. They won't talk about one cut. You know what they'll talk about? Increasing the millionaires' taxes on millionaires. Immediately they'll talk about increasing other taxes, Joe. My point is, if the Democrats want to work with Christie, and Christie reaches across the aisle and there's some compromise, including the possibility of one tax, Joe, the gas tax.
No.
They've got to give on each side, Joe.
No, Steve, I love you. No taxes. Enough with the tax. Don't even mention the word tax.
Tax, Joe?
No, bring the jobs to New Jersey. Bring the jobs, and it's good. I'll tell you what, I got to give Governor Christie about, and we'll let you go, Steve. I know we're running late, but listen, the governor mentioned about Camden. He talks about the inner city. That's the first conservative that I've heard talk about an inner city. This is great that he's talking about that. Bring those rims that got busted. They should be making those in Camden, not in China. And for a General Motors car, bring the jobs in. But to tax it, Steve, I'm telling you, and I know you. You look at you know you do very well, Stephen. Look at the taxes. It's like it's got to stop somewhere, Steve.
Joe, I agree, but to draw the line and say no taxes anywhere on any issue, even if those dollars are dedicated to fixing roads and bridges for public safety, I would disagree with you respectfully, Joe.
Yeah. And Atlantic City, did he say anything about Atlantic City, Stephen?
There wasn't one word about Atlantic City or anything else. You know why? Because the governor is suffocating under this pension issue. And I don't blame him for dealing with that exclusively, because if you don't deal with that, there's no money left for anything else.
Well, Steve, listen, I appreciate it. I don't know how you follow this all, Steve, but listen, thanks for breaking it down for us, buddy. And so what did you take echinacea, something for the cold? I
got echinacea, I got vitamin C, I got heavy antibiotics.
Oh, you want to take the antibiotics? Don't forget the probiotics. Probiotics, you need.
Probiotics, I do that. I got to finish my Z-Pack, and I'm staying away from my kids. I don't want them to get sick, and it's all good, Joe. And the Italian Americans of New York and New Jersey special on public television.
We love it. We'll be looking.
Piscopo, Adubato, Bartolomo.
Oh, listen, man, Stephen, we love you, buddy, and come back again. We'll see you soon out there on the road, Steve Adubato.
Thank you, Joseph.
Okay, brother, take care.